Thank you for my comfort. They're raining down on me. All right. Let it
Hey, everybody, PGZ Pastor G, right back at ya, right here on 3K TV channel 293, where we bring you stories that inspire you to fly higher, right here on Transformations with Pastor G. Peggy, so you start doing poetry. This is 2009, 210, 2008, 2009. You move into that space. Ministry.
Yeah.
How do you then start really just doing full-time ministry? I know you've just come from Malawi, attending a discipleship conference. What else are you? Where else are you involved in terms of ministry? Apart from doing poetry, apart from just impacting people, what you work with YWAM, Youth with a Mission. Tell me more about that.
So Youth with a Mission is an organization that deals with young people and training young people to go to the nations, to preach the gospel so that many can come to a saving knowledge of the Lord. But also, they're very passionate about influencing the 8 spheres of society, being in the mountains and being, like I said before, I completely believed that I had a purpose for being. I was here on mission. So whenever I went into a domain, so let's talk about me doing hair, I did it in obedience to the Lord. So every step of the way, whatever I've done in obedience to what He's told me to do in a season.
Let me hold you there. And I want to say to young people out there, you can also be like Peggy and actually be obedient to God. If God is speaking to you very clearly, it would be great for you to listen to Him. When God speaks, it's not a suggestion, it's a command. Anyway, go ahead.
So I then transition into teaching, and in teaching we start doing allied arts, and there's poetry. So I get engaged again, even at in teaching young people how to enunciate, how to speak poetry. And I'm doing events, I'm doing shows. From this first show that I do, the Lord just opens doors. I never called anyone and said, hey, I'm a poet, I perform, because in my own eyes, I'm not adequate. I'm not as gifted as the rest of the people. I'm still starting out. When I look at myself, I'm an amateur. But the Lord has honed skill in all these years with me and Him, where I'm writing in the background and no one sees it.
You're writing in the background, and I see you've got a journal. We're going to talk about the power of journaling when we close off. And I'm going to ask you to perform just a short poetry thing for us here, so that we're not going to play a song. Normally I play one of my songs, but we're going to do you.
Okay.
We're going to allow you to just show the young people out there that you can actually be a spoken word poet and actually impact people. But anyway.
Yeah,
so you're writing in the background?
So I'm writing in the background, and this is the skill He's been harnessing. So one of the things I really want to point out to young people who are watching, or anyone watching from any place you are in your life, because there is really no frame of how your life will work out. It can change today. The Lord can call you into doing different things in the different domains. You could be told, start learning how to code, work with AI now, and you think, I'm 50, how is that possible? But your life is not over. If you're still breathing, it means you can still do something.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I start working with young people. I start doing the poetry. God opens doors. As He's opening doors, I'm teaching. He says to me, I want you to leave your job. I leave my job and I go to YWAM to be trained. So I get trained. I do a discipleship training school, which is the entry point into YWAM. Then I get trained. We go on mission to Malawi. We go to South Africa. We go to preach the gospel. But in that, I'm still using my art. So I'm doing the poetry. I'm writing. I'm telling stories to young people.
Telling stories. I like that. Since we're going to finish off, we're not going to finish off with a song today. We're going to finish off with your poem. You're going to give us a live poetry rendition. Yeah. I just want, you've got a podcast. Tell us more about the name of the podcast. Yeah.
The podcast is called Sit With You. And you, meaning sit with God, sit with me as you mind. It's a you. It's not Y-O-U. It's a you. Sit with God, sit with me, sit with people. Have conversations that are honest. It's an invitation to honest conversations.
Honest
to talk
conversations.
about life
issues. We don't have those honest conversations. We tend to gloss over everything as Christians.
Yeah, and we think there are things we can't say.
Yeah, yeah. Now, we've come to the end of our show today, but I want you to just share a poem.
Okay.
I know we talked about the power of journaling, and you can just show us your journal.
This is a journal. My friend in Estonia, Patience, shout out to you. She makes these. They're called the Hope Journals. So I journal daily.
And
This is how
journaling helps you write poems.
it helps me write poems. It
Captures
helps me
your
write
thoughts.
stories. It helps me stay connected with God as I'm processing what I'm going
Yeah.
through in life. So anything can make it in here. There's nothing sacred. There's nothing too small. I can write about anything I'm thinking about, but it also helps me keep track of my journey with the Lord.
Amen. Just in a minute or so, just give us a poem.
I see him seated with 12 men, soberly laying word by word directives, neating mindware and preparing hearts for heart-wrenching moments that would crown the evening of his betrayal. And I hear him say, I pray for you. I pray for you. I pray for you with groanings and moanings that cannot be translated into language or interpreted into words. I pray for you. With my head between my knees, I push for you. I push for you till the total redemptive work is matured in you, grace and mercy intertwining, birthing salvation. My body broken for you, my blood poured out for you. For this reason the Son of Man must go, as it is written, for I came not to do my will, but the will of the one who sent me. I follow him to a garden, a stone's throw away, the picture of aloneness, how he must needs carry this load while his closest companions drift off into sleep's oblivion, while his troubled soul and spirit induces his body to emit sweat, the semblance of blood. I watch him as humanity's true form uploads fear, dread, and depression. In Gethsemane, introducing Christ to the cruelty to be visited upon him. How his closest companions would deny him. Multitudes he fed would mock him. Crucify him, crucify him, crucify him.
Amen. And listen, you've been watching Transformations with Pastor G. That was a magical Peggie Shangwa, spoken word poet, as well as social influencer and spiritual culture thought impactor. God bless you. See you next week.